Hi, Alex Habersham. Want to advise everybody that we're going to have a Greek Explosion Expo, business and consumer mix-up. We're going to have all the fraternities and the sororities there. We're going to have vendors there. We're going to be talking about financial literacy and economic development, and most importantly, an opportunity to support businesses and the fraternities and sororities in our community. And I want to invite everybody to come out to La Piata, August the 29th at 6 o'clock and be a part of the Greek Explosion Expo business and consumer mixers. One of the best kept secrets in America is the role that African American fraternities and sororities play in our community. They have been involved, most of them, for over 100 years and have done a number of phenomenal initiatives and projects and activities to generally improve our community, all the way from mentoring to economic development and health, and just in almost every positive area imaginable. One way or the other, an African American fraternity or sorority has engaged in some kind of activity to foster that. And I thought it would not be robbery if, in fact, at our next expo, we involve and invite all of these fraternities and sororities, and we've got a couple of them here today that we're going to talk about. But I want to express, first of all, my appreciation to all of them. And you know, we kind of overlook it, and I just happen to be familiar with the activities of many of them and am just greatly impressed. And at our next expo, we're going to kind of foster and present and promote and embrace, you know, many of these fraternities and sororities at the Greek Explosion is what we're calling it, on August the 29th. But first of all, we're going to talk generally about the role of the African American fraternities. We got Skeeter Brown, Greg Brown, also known as Greg, here, who's the president of the Divine Nine, which is an organization of all of the African American fraternities and sororities in the area. And we also got Alpha, Kappa, Alpha. We got Miss Coretta Scott, you know, who's a committee chair for Alpha, Kappa, Alpha. We're going to talk about that. And then we got the president. I know it's not called president, but we'll just leave it at that for right now. Counselor, Attorney Brenda Youmas, who's in charge of I'm trying to get the chapter name. Epsilon Omega. Chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. That's a lot to say. That's why I struggle a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to keep on rolling. No sense I'm not going to holler cut. We're just going to keep on rolling. So I really do appreciate you all being here. And raise your hand, Skeeter. Greg Brown, he's the president of the Divine Nine. Coretta Scott.
I'm the co-chair.
She's the co-chair. And then, of course, we got Miss Brenda Youmas. What's the former name for the person in charge? Bachelor. So, first of all, let's talk about the Divine Nine and some of the things that you all are doing. And the good thing about it, Greg, is that, you know, it's good to see organizations come together.
Right.
Oftentimes, a lot of people think the fraternities and sororities are competitive, and they all believe in their own Greek organization, but you know, they've come together through the Divine Nine. Talk about that.
Right. Thanks for hosting us today, Mr. Habersham. It's a pleasure to be in on the call to action. The National Pan-Hellenic Council, you know, it encompasses all of the 9 Black Greek organizations. Starting back May 10th, 1930, when it was founded, you know, they thought it was great to bring all of the Greek letter organizations together so that we can bring all of our initiatives, you know, all of our principles that we have for our organizations, so that we can collectively better serve the communities. Here in the Macon area, we are the Macon Middle Georgia National Pan-Hellenic Council, and it includes mostly all of the Black Greek organizations. And we have done a lot of great things here in the Macon community by collecting canned good items and non-perishables and donating those items to some local charities in the community. We've held political forums just to kind of hear what candidates have to say when they are vying for positions. And not only that, we are involved in the communities and local schools where we are stepping in to, like you said earlier, help mentor the next generation, and also providing, scholarship opportunities to those who are furthering their education.
What you do on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, me professionally, I work for the Macon-Bibb County Planning and Zoning Commission, where our organization is basically responsible for the growth and the development of the community.
Outstanding. Those are very, very key words. And we also got the bachelors here. Talk a little bit, and then let me tell you what happened. All of these organizations got national initiatives. And then so we're going to have, excuse me, we're not going to cut, we're going to keep rolling. This expo was kind of driven out of the national initiative of the Alpha, Kappa, Alpha sorority. I'm going to remember Epsilon, Omega, Omega chapter of Alpha, Kappa, Alpha sorority. So talk a little bit about that national initiative, and what I think that does, bachelors, is that kind of mirrors the seriousness of all of these Greek organizations and how they come together, and both collectively and individually, to try to influence communities all across the nation in a positive manner.
I echo what Greg just said, Skeeter. Thank you for giving the opportunity. People can see the true side of what fraternity sorority is about. Our younger colleagues in the undergrads and things, everybody think about stepping. Right. But we do a lot more than just stepping and strolling. We're about academic scholarship and service. What each term, the Supreme President, we'll call President, National President, and the National President has a platform, and they come up with initiative targets. We have 5, which consist of HBCU for Life, that initiative where we're promoting, encouraging people to attend HBCU, to fund HBCU. Our international president, Dr. Glenda Glover, is the president of Tennessee State University. Okay. And so she's really pushing, our goal is to try to provide each HBCU with at least $100,000 each. Wow, we were very fortunate to be able to raise $1 million in one day to pass out.
Amazing.
And so we're pushing on that, and I try to make sure that I collaborate with the other organizations. Greg and we're on the HBCU, we have some things at the Douglas. Our second one has to deal with women's health, addressing those particular issues that we have, which Coretta is part of. It's called Building Your Economic Legacy, in which we're trying to teach people how to have a legacy of wealth. And we're teaching them how to manage their funds, how to invest, how to plan for college, and to do those things, and just how do you manage your money. The third one has to do with us working with, what else? The third, I'm sorry. Then we have global impact, where we do things around the world. We're helping people everywhere, and we have one that we deal with called the arts, where we're focusing on teaching kids about the Harlem Renaissance period and things of that nature. So each organization have the target areas. Those are, I hate them all, didn't I? The target areas that we deal with. But one thing I want to emphasize is that what we've been trying to do is making sure that not just us, but all 9. You're a member of Omega Psi Phi. I am. So, and Phi Beta Sigma right there. Yeah. That we all work together, that people can see that, like I said, as a group, we want to improve our community and help our students to advance and become productive citizens. at this expo, we want to focus on, with us, on building an economic legacy. I'm going to let Coretta tell you about
That's
that
right.
and what we're doing with that.
Okay, thanks for having us again. With building your economic legacy, we have under building your economic legacy, we have Operation AKA Assist, which is part of our local programs that we offer in the community. One being in January, we partner with Loaves and Fishes Ministries. We feed the homeless and give out hygiene packs to them. The second one being the summer breakfast feeding program. We partner with the Bibb County Nutrition Department, and we feed the children in the local neighborhood doing the summer breakfast feeding program. Thirdly, we have Thanksgiving boxes that we give to those children that attend the summer breakfast feeding program, to their families and other families in the Macon and Middle Georgia area. And then lastly, we have in the month of December, we have Clothing the Gap clothing drive and the Ruby Dunn coat drive.
Right.
And so those are part of the Operation AK Assist program that's under our target, building your economic legacy. So those are some of the things that we do in our local community that people may not know of, but hopefully they'll know of it now once they see your airing. Now, under the building your economic legacy, like Ms. Youmas stated, we focus on the financial planning and asset accumulation. We focus on credit repair and building your credit score. Thirdly, we focus on entrepreneurship and the Black Dollar 365.
Wow.
So, and I did mention Operation AKA Assist. So that's the last part of that, the level in that target. But we want everyone to know that, the time is now where we as African Americans need to come on board and learn how to manage our money, how to, look at our credit scores, because a lot of the young generation do not realize that, they spend money, they get a check, they spend money, they go buy tennis shoes or whatever it is they spend their money on, not realizing that, as our ancestors taught us, we have to save, for that day that we hope not come, but we have to save for a rainy day. So in this expo, we hope to allow others to get involved and ask questions about how they can, just become financially free and independent.
Okay, outstanding. I'm gonna let you host this show one day. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Havisham. I'm finally telling you. And I'm just happy to have my guest today, Mr. Skeeter Brown, who's a member of Phi Beta Sigma.
Yes, sir.
Miss Coretta Scott, who is an AKA, and Miss Brenda Youmas, who's the bacheloress. I used to say bacheloress.
President's okay.
AKA, and of course, since we calling out the name of fraternities and sororities, I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi. Now, what happened? I got a couple of things to say very quickly. First of all, we're having this expo because I was approached by AKA, about partnering in this endeavor to build the economic legacy. We're having that as a theme. We were going to have the expo anyway, but we always try to have an expo that's going to impact the community. I quickly want to say that we need businesses and organizations involved who deal with financial literacy and economic development, because we want vendors there who can provide information to the consuming public about the importance of economic vibrancy, of financial literacy, and all saving your money, and also the importance of building for the future. It's extremely important. If I may say so, Council, I contend that one of the ways to address most of the problems in our community is through economics. It's through economics. So we want everybody to come out, and if you have a business, that deals with that, I'm sure all of the, let me say this too, we have invited all of the fraternities and the sororities to be involved in this process, and we expect to have a good time. I'm gonna pause and see if anybody else wants to say something right
Well,
I knew it.
that the building your economic legacy, financial management. But one other key component of it is making the money. What we also want to do, and we used to do this years ago, Alex, remember Black Dollar Days?
Right.
Where we encourage people to take this day and just support a black business. And
well, I'm glad you said that because I need to plug the black pages.
I'm about to say that. And so this is an expo too that's for the Middle Georgia Black Pages, where you let the community know what black businesses are that are already making. It will help to support black business, so therefore we'll have money to invest and manage.
Absolutely.
So this will be one component of it. And then the other thing too is that, yes, this is part of our initiative, building your economic legacy. But we thought that it would also be good to invite, like you said, the other 8, because that's, we are as one. I mean, we have our own individual platform, individual styles, but we are still African American group looking for the same cause. That's its service. Our jacket banks, where we give jackets, we do that in collaboration with the Phi Beta Sigmas. So I hope it's twofold, to have financial businesses to apply, but businesses that just are black African American businesses to sign up, become a vendor, so people can know that you do exist and that we want you to support it.
Right.
And hopefully at some point in time we can work on doing that again,
Right.
like Dollar Day.
Right.
That's great.
Telling everybody to
Okay.
on that day.
Yeah, Greg, you want to kind of add to that?
Well, yeah, the Black Dollar Days, that's something I never heard about, and just to summarize, just to piggyback on what Brenda has said, Phi Beta Sigma, we have a national initiative under our Bigger and Better Business principle, and it's called Project Seed Sigma Economic Empowerment Development.
Wow.
Right, and that under that particular initiative, it encourages chapters of Phi Beta Sigma to just get out and, in our own fashion, promote small businesses, minority businesses, independent businesses. In our own way, it encourages us to support those businesses, or if we can't get out to support them physically, we can always interview them. With technology these days, you can do live interviews on your cell phone, you can post it to social media, and that's ways of promoting the businesses in the community.
Did you want to add to that, Coretta?
Oh, I would like to let everyone know that Epsilon Omega offer over $10,000 in scholarships every year. That's a plug that a lot of people may not know of, but to those high school seniors that are furthering their education, and they can apply. We have information where we send out the applications online where they can apply for the scholarships, and then hopefully they will be rewarded the scholarships at our scholarship banquet that we have every year.
Now go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that. We've been doing these things for years, and the public should know.
That's
okay. All
Yes,
right.
they should.
But we can say you may not know.
Yes,
For a long
they
time.
should.
Yeah.
And we've given her hundreds of thousands of dollars
Yes.
throughout the years, so
Yeah.
the public should know we want to just re-emphasize these are things we do.
Yes.
And working with particularly with scholarships. I think we did something together with Tom Joyner.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
To raise money for HBCU.
Right. Well, that's very important. And let me say this very quickly. It doesn't take much to have a conscientious effort. And I think it is incumbent upon all of us. See, what we are forgetting is that people died.
Right.
People died for us to have some freedom and to get some jobs and have some decent jobs and live in where we used to couldn't live, in places other than Tyndall Heights, and you know, people really died for that. And so what we are trying to do, and I'm gonna let we're gonna call the names of all the organizations involved in a minute. But we want to try to create an ever-present conscientiousness, not only about economic, financial stability and economic legacy, but we also want everybody to be aware, and you need to come to the expo, of, you know, she just talked about over $100,000 in scholarship. He talked about Project Seed, but all of these Greek organizations have similar initiatives,
That's right.
if not the same ones. And then let's call them, you can name a couple of them. We're gonna call all the names of the Greek organizations.
Oh, sure, not a problem. I would start with Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity.
Okay.
You know, founded December 1906.
Okay.
And then you have Kappa Alpha Psi
Okay.
Fraternity, Inc. They were founded January 1911.
Okay, well, keep on, you're doing well.
Then you have Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, and I know you know that, November 1911. And
Okay.
then you have Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, founded January 1914, and then Iota Phi Theta Fraternity, Inc. And they were founded September 1963. And then when you switch it over to the sororities, you know, the
come
beautiful
on.
young ladies, you know, we have Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. They were founded January 1908. Then you have Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc. They were founded January 1913. The Zeta Phi Beta Sorority, they were founded January 1920, in which they'll be celebrating their centennial in 2020, 100 years. And then you have Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority, Inc., and they were founded November 1922.
Wow, he's showing off, isn't he? Yeah, that's outstanding. And see, a lot of people don't realize that. Now, what that shows for this guy who's a Sigma, you know, to know all of the founding dates of all of the fraternities and sororities, that shows that there's some unusual cohesion. You know, I'm serious. We need more of that in our community. And you know, that's why we thought we want to uplift AKA, because you know, they kind of initiated this expo, and they're the co-sponsors of it, along with the Black Pages. But we wanted, you know, that's a beautiful sight.
It is.
You know, to have all of the fraternities and the sororities represented at this expo. And I want to piggyback just a little bit on what Councilor Youmas said, is that, you know, we all can play a role. We all can play a role because, look, $3.5 billion. Billion. You know, is the amount of money that African Americans spend, look here, in Central Georgia.
Right.
Wait a minute, I ain't through. After taxes.
Wow.
You know, that's a lot of money, you know, that's flowing out of our community.
Right.
Because we are spenders, and our suggestion is, our hope and our prayer, you know, are that, you know, that we become more conscientious and spend more of that money, you know, with African American businesses. And the Macon Middle Georgia Black Pages is just one resource. But you know, businesses, and quickly, Coretta, we want to piggyback on what Ms. Brenda said, is that we want all the businesses, not just the ones who deal with finances, because we want them too. But we want, if you're in business and if you want to get exposure to, boy, you know, when you think about all 9 of these Greek organizations with chapters in Macon, ooh, what's the economic impact of that?
Yeah.
What's the economic impact of that? So we invite you to participate in the expo, and we invite you to encourage the fraternity and sorority members of your organization, somebody you may know, you know, to give us a call and participate. Who else want to say something?
Looking forward to seeing you on August the 29th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the lovely La Piata.
Okay. I like that. And let me thank you and for participating, and I certainly want to holler at Greg,
All right.
because he's the president, of the Divine Nine, and I'm leaning on him. AKA, and I'm making sci-fi, leaning on you, to get involvement from all of those organizations, because we think it's going to be a phenomenal event. We're going to have speakers. We're going to have some people speaking on financial literacy, and a lot of people don't know it, but we're going to have representatives there from Project Hope. That's important to the community, because their mission is to get everybody with a 700 credit score. Y'all won't bombard it now, ain't you? But that's extremely important. A lot of people don't know it. But Andrew Young, I can't remember the title of the video that Andrew Young did, but he's partnering with Project Hope, emphasizing, we'll scroll the URL across the screen, but he's partnering with Project Hope to emphasize the importance of financial literacy and economic development, which is the major mission of Project Hope. So we will have them involved also. Any other comments?
I'm trying. I think we're just looking forward to it, from the overall perspective of the Pan-Hellenic Council, and we'll be there to support the summit, the event in full force.
Okay.
Be there, don't miss out. Your prime opportunity from poverty to riches. Our secrets that we can be able to tell you. You can't tell on the show. You need to come.
Yeah.
To learn how to go from poor man to rich man.
Yeah, and we can be that. We ought to have a lot of millionaires right here in Central Georgia, based on the amount of money that the African American community makes. Now, let me also say very quickly that although we got the fraternities and the sororities, but there are some corporations, and we want to acknowledge them, that are going to support the efforts through sponsorships, and we'll have them there. But if you are a business, and whether or not you deal with economic development or financial literacy or not, then if in fact, it's all about exposure. So we're inviting you to purchase a booth. You can call the Black Pages office at 478-464-0074, and I'm sure that somebody will entertain your efforts to purchase a booth. I want to thank Mr. Skeeter Brown, who is the president of the Pan-Hellenic Council and a member of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, for the council and Sigma's involvement. I want to thank Ms. Coretta Scott, who's the chairperson, co-chair. I'm gonna give Ms. Eddie Mae some credit. Eddie Mae Reed and Coretta Scott are the chairpersons of this initiative with financial literacy and economic development, and also Ms. Council Attorney Brenda Youmas, who's the ambassador for the AKA Sorority. That's August the 29th, 6 to 10 at the lovely La Piazza. That's 478-464-0074. And like Ms. Youmas said, be there. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
See you at the expo.